Margaret Dawson stepped out of the worn-down taxi, her simple blue dress fluttering in the night's cool breeze. She looked up at the opulent entrance of the St. Regis Grand, the newest addition to her husband's empire. A golden glow bathed the marble floors inside, where wealthy guests waltzed in and out, their laughter echoing against the crystal chandeliers. She hesitated, clutching her small purse. She had never been one for extravagance, despite being married to one of the world's richest men. Tonight, circumstances had forced her here. Her flight had been delayed, and an unexpected storm had rendered the roads dangerous. She needed a place to stay. Surely, the hotel her husband built would accommodate her. Margaret approached the front desk, where a young receptionist barely glanced at her before offering a rehearsed smile. "Welcome to the St. Regis Grand. How may I assist you?" "I'd like a room for the night, please," Margaret said, her voice gentle but firm. The receptionist eyed her plain attire and her scuffed shoes. She gave a tight smile. "I'm afraid we're fully booked." Margaret frowned. "I see. Could you check again?" "My husband is. We don't have rooms available for walk-ins without prior reservations, ma'am." The receptionist's tone had cooled, and she glanced toward a manager standing nearby, a woman with sharp features and a practiced elegance. Margaret inhaled deeply. "If you could just call." The manager stepped forward, offering a polite but dismissive smile. "Perhaps you could try a more affordable establishment. There's a motel about a mile down the road." The word stung. Margaret had never flaunted her wealth, but to be dismissed so easily simply because of her appearance was a cruel irony. She nodded slowly, stepping back. "Thank you for your time." She turned, making her way toward the exit, when a deep, familiar voice cut through the lobby's hum. "Cancel any reservations necessary. My wife will have the best suite available." The room fell silent as heads turned. The billionaire himself, Charles Dawson, stood tall in a tailored navy suit, his striking gray eyes blazing with fury. The air around him seemed to still as he stepped forward, his presence commanding. The receptionist paled. The manager stiffened. "Mr. Dawson, sir," the manager stammered. I didn't realize." "You didn't realize my wife deserved kindness." Charles's voice was like ice. "You judged her because she didn't arrive in diamonds and a limousine." The manager's lips trembled. "Sir, we had no idea." Charles turned to Margaret, his gaze softening instantly. "Darling, are you all right?" Margaret nodded, but her expression was unreadable. "I was just going to find another place." Charles clenched his jaw. "Not a chance. This is our hotel. You should have been welcomed the moment you walked through those doors." He turned back to the staff, his voice firm but measured. "I built this place not just for the elite, but for anyone seeking comfort and warmth. And yet, my own wife was turned away because she didn't fit your expectations of wealth." He exhaled sharply, his disappointment evident. "Effective immediately, your hiring and training policies will change. No one who disrespects another human being will work under my name." The manager's face turned ghostly white. The receptionist's hands trembled as she tried to steady herself against the desk. Charles motioned to an older bellman standing silently by the luggage carts. "James, please escort my wife to the grand suite and ensure she has everything she needs." The elderly man's face broke into a warm smile. "Right away, sir." As Margaret was led upstairs, Charles turned back to the staff. "This should never happen again. Not to anyone. Do you understand?" There was a chorus of murmured agreements, heads bowed in shame. Later that night, as Margaret settled into the lavish suite, Charles sat beside her. "I'm so sorry," he murmured. "I can't believe this happened." Margaret took his hand, squeezing it gently. "It's not just about me, Charles. This happens to people every day, people without a husband who can swoop in and change their fate." He nodded solemnly. "Then let's do something about it. A kindness initiative. Free stays for those in need. Better training for our staff. No one will ever be turned away unfairly again. The following morning, Margaret met with the hotel's senior management team alongside Charles. They discussed new policies, emphasizing compassion over appearances. A week later, the hotel unveiled its Open Arms program, providing shelter to those in need and implementing diversity training for staff. The transformation of the St. Regis Grand was swift. The once exclusive hotel became a beacon of warmth and generosity. News spread, and other hotels followed suit, inspired by the change. Margaret, the woman once denied a room, now became a symbol of kindness, proving that true wealth wasn't measured in riches but in the ability to change lives through compassion. Months later, Charles stood beside Margaret at a grand charity event held in the very hotel that had once refused her entry. "None of this would have happened without you," he whispered, pride shining in his eyes. Margaret smiled. "It happened because kindness always finds a way." And from that day forward, the St. Regis Grand was no longer just a luxury hotel, it was a place where dignity, kindness, and humanity thrived.